Coffer here for Uke Jams, and we're continuing our play-along series of all the Oscar-winning songs, and we're up to 1946. 1946 was an interesting year for the Oscars. It's the first time that the Oscar songs were performed at the Oscar ceremony, in part because it's the first time that they limited the number of songs. As you recall, in 1945, there were 14 nominees. Clearly, you can't perform 14 nominees. Now, it is interesting that in these early years in which the musical numbers were performed, they were performed by hired singers, there was no attempt to have them performed by the original artists. So in 1946, we have On the Atchison, Topeka, and the Santa Fe by Judy Garland, sung by Judy Garland. And this is the second song sung by Judy Garland to win, obviously Over the Rainbow being the first. And we already have Bing Crosby, who has sung 3 of the Oscar-winning songs. We're going to have some more multiple winners coming up here shortly. So it's several things to note about Atchison, Topeka, and the Santa Fe. Sorry, let's get that screenshot up there. It had 2 versions. The version in the movie is completely different lyrically from the version that became a pop tune. So we're going to do the pop tune version because it's more well-known. If you go to ukejams.com, you'll find both versions up there. So if you want to do the original movie version, feel free to check that out at ukejams.com. A few things I do want to go over before we do the song. 2 things. First off, we have an unusual chord, an A-flat 6. And an A-flat 6, as it turns out, is exactly the same as an F minor 7. Okay, and that's shown on the chord chart. There's a missing chord on the chord chart, which happens to be the F minor 7, but I can tell you it's exactly the same as the A-flat 6. But what I'm going to recommend to make that chord a little easier, because that is a challenging chord, because both the A-flat 6 and the F minor 7 appear in this song, and they are the same, we can also take the D minor 7 and move it up, D sharp, E, F. Move it up to the 4th fret. So I'm going to recommend, since you already know how to finger the D minor 7, you consider playing that on the 4th fret. If you want to do the F minor 7 and the A flat 6, by all means do so. The second thing to note is I've got the actual chords shown in the chord chart for each verse. You see we've got a G7 and a bunch of Cs, and we've got a lot of 1-beat chords in here. That's what the slashes indicate, how many beats each chord is if it's not 4 on my chord charts. And I'm going to do the first and second verse I'm going to play differently. The first verse I'm going to play exactly as written, starting with the G7 and the C. The second verse, though, for the first 2.5 lines of the song, for everything except that one F, I'm going to just alternate back and forth between the C and the G7 to give me a train sound. So there's 2 ways you can play this song. I like the train sound. If you just want to play the chords as shown, we'll do that for the first verse. So here we go with On the Atchison, Topeka, and the Santa Fe by Harry Warren and Johnny Mercer, sung by Judy Garland in 1946 movie Harvey Girls, winner of the Oscar for Best Original Song. Do you hear that whistle down the line? I reckon that it's engine number 49. She's the only one that'll sound that way on the Atchison, Topeka, and the Santa Fe. See the old smoke rising round the bend. I reckon that she knows she's gonna meet a friend. Folks around these parts get their time of day from the Atchison, Topeka, and the Santa Fe. Here she comes, ooh. Hey Jim, you better get the rig. Ooh. She's got a list of passengers that's pretty big, and they'll all want lifts to Brown's Hotel. 'Cause Lots of them been traveling for quite a spell, all the way from Philadelphia, on the Atchison, Topeka, and the Santa Fe. There we have it, the winner for Best Original Song for the year 1946 on the Atchison, Topeka, and the Santa Fe by Harry Warren and Johnny Mercer. Until next year, this is Leonard Coffer for Uke Jam saying, keep on strumming.